let's get out now to sports gambling attorney Daniel Wallach. Daniel, thank you so much for your time. Really shocking. First of all, what is your reaction to this announcement, to these arrests, and how long it appears this investigation has been ongoing?
Well, I mean, with respect to the Terry Rozier allegations, that is somewhat old news. That goes back to 2023 and some earlier reporting. We already knew about that one. The Chauncey Billups involved poker, not necessarily sports betting. So we're still trying to wrap our arms on how widespread this is throughout the NBA. But I think it does underscore why it's so essential and important to have sports integrity monitoring and regulation of sports betting at the state level to kind of bring this out of the shadows and have a robust integrity framework to catch the crooks, to catch the frauds. And I think that's what may have happened here. I think we don't have the entirety of the story, but sports books that are licensed by states work hand in hand with law enforcement authorities when there's any whiff of any kind of a scandal involving athletes or people trying to rig the matches. We wouldn't have been able to catch that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, before the federal ban on state authorized sports betting was overturned. As a result of that ban, we now have transparency and we now have an early warning system and a detection system, which never existed before and certainly does not exist in these like so-called prediction markets where there's no real regulatory oversight. So I think the states are doing a fantastic job in working closely with law enforcement authorities. And I think this is proof that the detection system does work.
All right. So we know, 24 or more actually people arrested, including members of New York crime families. The U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District there breaking down how this scheme allegedly worked. Let's listen to some of that.
The non-public information included when specific players would be sitting out future games or when they would pull themselves out early for purported injuries or illnesses. They relied on corrupt individuals, including Jones and Rozier. They also misused information obtained through long-standing friendships that they had with NBA players and coaches. And in at least one instance, they got their information by threatening a current player, Porter, because of his pre-existing gambling debts. Defendants used this non-public information to place hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent bets, mostly in the form of prop bets on individual player performance.
All right, Daniel, you are a sports gambling attorney. What, if anything, can be done to protect these prop bets from being manipulated?
One, you want to eliminate them at the collegiate level. There's certainly no question about that. Ages 18 to 21 are the most vulnerable segment, both for purposes of problem gambling and also being vulnerable to betting syndicates. So you want to eliminate it from collegiate wagering. At the professional level, I think we just need more robust monitoring. And what's happening is that the prop bets, the injuries, the players pulling themselves out of games and tipping off their friends, the sports books are already reporting that you can't prevent the temptation. You have to increase the criminal penalties and make sure you have a robust integrity and reporting system in place, which the leagues do, which the NBA does, and they work hand in hand with state gambling regulators to ensure that there's cooperation and information sharing among all the stakeholders. What I'm worried about is this new age of sports prediction markets conducted by companies like Kalshi, Polymarket, Crypto.com, where there are no sports-related integrity guardrails in place, and it's almost like the Wild East. So I think what we need to do is to have the states continue to do what they're doing, increase the criminal penalties. The system works, the detection system works, the accountability is working. It's just going forward as more and more of the wagering is shifted from tightly regulated state gambling markets into lightly or unregulated commodities markets where there is zero oversight by a federal agency which has been furloughed during the government shutdown. I think the prospect of the rise of the sports prediction markets will increase the risk exponentially to the professional professional sports leagues, NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, National Hockey League, collegiate sports, tennis. And I think it's incumbent upon the courts to really to address this issue.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.